I don't know what day we're on. I've completely lost track. The last few days have been very good, but very busy. There's a bunch of videos. I don't know what's loaded, what's saved, what's not. So I don't know whether you'll have seen the last few sessions or not. But last few days were brilliant. So on Thursday, I went to meet the rest of the team for Propane Business. If you don't know who they are, I'd be very surprised if you don't know who they are, but you know who I am. Anyway, met the team Thursday, that was brilliant. And then on Friday was a full day event, that was really, really good. It was impressive seeing everybody else that was there on the team, and then the people that had come along to the event too. So that was really cool. Stayed at a nice hotel, had good hotel breakfast. When hotel breakfast has smoked salmon, you know it's fancy. So I had that. I had to drive because all the trains decided to strike. But I don't think they decided to strike because the event was on. I think there just happened to be strikes on. So, anyway, so I drove up on Thursday, drove back on Friday night. Still didn't get back till about 11:30, so fairly late. But I needed to get back because yesterday we were packing the house. So fortunately, we had Rich's family came over to help, so that was good. I'd say we're like 80% packed now. There's just a few bits and pieces left to do. I've actually, over there, got a bunch of boxes I need to put upstairs because we've got quite a tight window between moving out and moving into the new place. Like there's a crossover of like a day. So anything that can just be stored in my office here, we're just doing that short term so we can move the big stuff as and when we need it. And then this evening, once I finish with updating programs and stuff, then I'll be packing up more bits and pieces. And then this week, Monday and Tuesday are going to be normal. Don't know, I'm shouting, I've got a microphone on. Monday and Tuesday will be normal. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll be moving and stuff. I'll still be doing work, but I won't be doing any meetings or anything. It'll just be work that I can respond to, like as and when, whilst I'm out and about, because there's going to be a lot of driving backwards and forwards and like odd bitty jobs and stuff like that. And then we'll get the internet and stuff set up at the new place, and then we'll be in the new house. All very quick. So today, I'm assuming I'm benching. I always bench on a touch and go bench. Yes. So on Thursday night, we met up and trained, and I did my main bench stuff first. I was in someone else's gym. The gym was quite busy, and there was nowhere that would have been not inconvenient for other people to set up a tripod and film. And to be honest, I was just having a nice time, so I didn't want to mess about with filming and stuff like that. You didn't really miss anything. I benched either 132 or 135 for 3 sets of 3, and then I went and basically did bodybuilding, like seated rows, curls, raises, stuff like that. Nothing crazy. I will say, I mentioned before about my elbow. Both my elbows are a bit sore at the minute. I think I need to do more stuff in a deeper range for them. They're not bad enough to cause me any real issues. I think because the way the bench was, either I could unrack it here or right up here. When it was right up here, I was getting a hand out, and when you get a hand out, it felt like it was like not much weight, and then all the weight, I could feel it going through my elbows, and now they're just a little bit uncomfortable. Nothing crazy, but worth keeping aware of, you know. So yeah, today is touch and go bench. So that should be all right, hopefully. And then when we move, I don't know what I'll do this week for videos. So tomorrow my calendar's pretty packed because of the end of the week not being able to have any appointments. So it'll just be like walking and cardio. And then Tuesday will be bench. There's nothing special happening on Tuesday. So Tuesday I'll be able to bench like normal. That's my incline day. Got 90 kilos on that, so that'll be cool. Turns out I'm not as far off from 100 as I thought I was on that. Wednesday in the morning, I'm doing some coaching. So I'll basically do the coaching, then I'll train. It'll be squats. Then last week's squats as well. I think I put the video up. They sucked. I ended up having to split the session into two. It's a whole big thing. Anyway, Wednesday I will squat, and then it'll be a case of coaching, squat, leave. Then we'll go into the new house to measure up, but we have to be there with an estate agent because we don't officially get the keys till the next day, but there's just a few bits and pieces I need to just double check the measurements of to make sure things will fit in certain places. If you ever moved house, I'm sure you've been through this. But it was either we moved with like a 2-ish day window, or we paid for a full extra month of rent, and I didn't want to pay for a full extra month of rent. It's cheaper to pay for movers and stuff like that than it would have been just to pay for an extra month of rent. And I feel like if it was the extra month, we potentially dawdle, and that month would be over Christmas and stuff, so it would be spent moving. Whereas this way, it's like rip the band-aid off, over and done with, you know. Right, 100. Oh. That was weird. I don't know. It wasn't hard. It's only 100. It's touch and go day. Touch and go, close grip, and maybe front raises. I need to just double check that. I will. Am I looking at the right week? I am looking at the right week. Touch and go, close grip, and front raises. That's it, dead simple. So I've already done some flies and some real light curls. So nothing crazy. My top set is supposed to be 140. So I'll go I was going to go 125, but I can't break my own rules because I went 40, 60, 80, 100. So I can't then go 100 to 125. That's a 25 jump after making 20 kilo jumps. So that's wrong. It's like sin, like blasphemy. So I'll have to do 120. I'm still like, with my pec and still just being real cautious with it, you know, especially with the deficit. So I'm now at 91 kilos, so that's pretty cool. If I show you, you probably won't be able to see it because it won't focus. So I use Macro Factor to track my nutrition because it's a lot easier than MyFitnessPal. Although you have to pay for it, it's much nicer. So if I show you, which graph would you like to see? You don't know. Right. So this is over the past, this graph here. Right. You focus on that. So you can see there's a nice line coming down. So this peak weight here, it's not going to tell me, is it? Go on 1 week. Keep scrolling back. Is that the highest weight? Perhaps there. You see up close to 98. That was 96.7, I think. And it come down, and come back up a bit close to the competition, oscillated a bit, and then I started the deficit. Started the deficit about here. So we're on, oh, there we go. 97.6 was the highest, and then it's gradually been coming down to now at 91. So then if I show you the trend, this is what the trend looks like. So you can see the actual weights are up and down, but the trend is trending downwards, which is how it should. So this reckons, on average, the energy deficit each day, it thinks I'm at a 983 calorie deficit, which is probably, it's about right for the rate of weight loss that's happening, which is good. So it means I won't have to keep it going forever. What's the date today? Can you tell? I've had caffeine today. This is my second monster of the day. So I'm like, ugh. I'm not actually, I feel good. It's about like 1:30, but because I've got a lot of stuff to do today, I'm okay with that. It's going to be a late night, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so today is the 10th. So I can do 2 more weeks of fat loss at the most, and that will mean that Christmas Day will then be the beginning of maintenance / back to gaining. So that'll be a nice like transition. So I am starting to look visibly leaner now, which is nice. Haven't really noticed, I'm not getting hangry or anything like that. Most of the symptoms, if you like, of the fat loss is, I don't really have any. I mean, my elbows are recovering slower than normal, but I did do loads of extra stuff, loads of packing and other bits, and they're not that bad. And it's only been, this will be 2 weeks. So yeah, what are we at? Like 5 kilos in 2 weeks? But realistically, it's not 5 kilos of fat loss, is it? It'd be like 2 kilos of fat loss and 3 kilos of water and glycogen and whatever else. Anyway, I should lift. Oh. That was allegedly double the speed of the 100. I don't think the 100 registers properly. That's 120. Nice and steady. I'm just looking, there's a pile of boxes over there. I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's not that many. You see that pile of boxes over here? I need to take them and put them up there, but up there needs tidying and sorting out. It's not like the worst mess in the world, but it has just become a storeroom. So I don't really use it as an office. Now it's colder, I tend to do my office work from home instead. So I'm gonna need to, I was thinking I might just move them between sets. I can't film, it's a whole other thing. Also, I noticed I've gone past 500 subscribers on YouTube, so that's cool. thank you to all 500 people. I quite enjoy doing this, to be honest. And what I've been doing is I film the video or whatever, and then the way my days have been falling, apart from this week, last week and this week, because of things just being weird, I'll train, obviously do the video. How cool is it putting 3 plates on? I still find this cool. I don't know when it'll wear off, because there was a point where I used to find it real cool putting 2 plates on. Now it's with 3. Anyway, it's because that's too far away. That's why. So this reflects light off that, which is how it knows where it is. So what I do is film this whilst I'm training, and then when I'm doing my cardio, I usually have been doing cardio later on, and I have the bike desk thing. So I set this phone, I put heart rate monitor on, and I put a reminder on for if my heart rate goes too low or too high. So I have it set to 115 and 140. So as long as it stays between the two, that's fine, don't have to think about it. That's when I just trim these clips and put them together. So there's not really much in the way of editing. So it's quite a good way to get through the cardio, do something productive, but also like it takes my mind a little bit off the cardio, because it's not like the cardio is hard enough to warrant concentrating. It's just something that needs doing. And it's something that I'll keep in, but then as I get close to the competition, like the last 6 weeks or so, it'll taper down. And with that said, the last couple of days, because I stopped wearing my step tracker and I was just doing my walking as extra walking on the treadmill, the weather outside's been terrible. I haven't tracked my steps or anything, so I don't think I'll have hit my step targets. But also, I probably haven't eaten as much as I would normally, because food was provided. So the food was provided, which is brilliant, but it's quite small portions. So I then took protein shakes and fruit with me to try and bump it up. So I was like, I know from just the food I brought, I got like 150 grams of protein a day. So then whatever else is in all the other meals provided will bump me over the 200. So then the calories, the 150 grams of protein roughly that I was getting, comes with minimal fat and carbs, like apart from the fruit, but like you aren't getting that many calories from fruit realistically. Like 3 or 4 apples is not going to break the bank on calories. So although my steps probably were lower, I was on my feet most of the time, wandering around different bits and pieces. I did cardio on Thursday morning, and Friday I didn't. But Friday was the day at like the conference, for lack of a better term. Conference, meetup, summit, I don't know what you call it. And I was someone presenting as well, so it's not like I was doing nothing. I was like active on my feet and whatnot, but lots of driving. So I didn't get home till late, so there was no cardio done on Friday, so I'm very lazy from that regard. Saturday, yesterday, I should have benched yesterday, but because of all the packing stuff and timing and whatnot, that's why I'm doing that today. So that's why everything's sort of moved on an extra day. But this is part of the reason why I'm entered this competition, is because it forces me to still get this done. So if I didn't have the competition in mind and my eyes on that 700, what I might have done is just been like, I'll just take a couple of weeks off from training. Just be like, yeah, if I didn't have anything in mind, I'd be like, I'll just take a couple of weeks off from training. It'll be fine. It'll be no big deal. And then that next then spirals onto, and then the nutrition doesn't matter. I won't eat properly. And it's, it doesn't matter if I don't sleep very well. And next thing you know, it's like a negative spiral and spiral and spiral. Whereas this way, it's like, yeah, training might not be perfect, but there's that end goal still in sight. So do the best in the situation to work towards that. You know, at least that's the way I look at it anyway. Right. 3 plates. Touch and go. If this could be a good rep, that would be lovely. Please, enforce your will onto me, subscriber people. Was that touch and go? That was like, I feel like that's what lots of people would count as paused, which is a weird one, because if you're someone that always benches touch and go, it would be good to be making it paused. But the whole point is to try and make it touch and go. I might watch this back. It says 0.27, which is fine. The plan is, that's my diary, that's not helpful. The plan is 2 sets of 1 at 140. So that was 1 set of 1. It says that's 85%. 140 divided by 0.85. That's based on a 165 max. So that's nice. Right, I'm just going to watch that. I'll be back in just a second. Yeah, it wasn't touch and go enough. There wasn't that turnaround. There was a bit much of like a sink. I think I'm still being like cautious with it. Obviously you don't want to be reckless, but I think I can like put a bit more oomph into it. Anyway, how good is this t-shirt? Right? If you don't get this, then clearly you're only like 8 years old or something. Lots of thoughts and different things and stuff and so on. So I made about a bazillion notes and then have to put them all to the side and be like, right, I need to get on top of normal life stuff first. And then look at the notes, go through the notes, do some cool stuff with them. A really big thing that come out of this is the idea of creating more space in different aspects and different facets of life and whatnot. I realise this isn't necessarily about training, but an example with training, for example, is creating space in your training so that you don't have to rush to go through the sessions, or to make the space in that you've got the recovery time between sessions, or to make the mental space, the head space of to not be in the gym and worrying about other things that you need to do, other work and this and that and whatever. So what I've done this morning is I've gone through any urgent matters from, I say urgent, with things that are urgent, I have a hard time accepting that they're urgent. After having worked as a doctor, what counts as urgent when you're in the hospital versus what counts as urgent when you work in the fitness industry is not the same thing. So when I say urgent, I mean things that are time sensitive. Nothing is that urgent. Making sure everybody's happy. There's nothing that needs attention right now. So updated programs and stuff like that, got back to clients. And then this evening, it will be looking at planning for next week and that sort of thing. So normally I would be squatting on a Sunday, so it's quite nice to be benching actually. It's a real nice session for a Sunday. I haven't decided yet if I'll do a double. Right, what I'm going to do, because I'm filming this, is I will walk you through the thought process of this. So, one thought process is, if I do a double session, then I'm back on target with my training, and I'm back onto the correct training days. The benefit of that is that I'm in the routine. The negative of that is, it's extra fatigue, it's also extra time, mentally too. Lower body sessions, squat sessions take it out of me more, and I do have a lot more stuff to do this afternoon and evening than I would normally after a squat session. My hamstring, it feels normal now. I don't want to go into that session after having already trained and being fatigued in the last few days and everything else and potentially risk hurting it. And I think I said in one of the other videos recently that in one session you aren't going to massively improve your performance, but in one session you can completely tank your long-term potential. So the risk is there, and time-wise, it's going to take time. So either I do it whilst I'm training now. Sorry, thought I was going to sneeze. So I do it either whilst I'm training now, or I do it later. If I do it now, this session's going to take ages, and I should probably eat at some point. If I do it later, then I'll have to leave and come back to the gym, so that's more time. When right now, sadly, training is not the number one priority. So, in conclusion, I'm not going to do my squat session today. What I might do is see what time I've got available tomorrow. If I've got any gaps, or if anyone cancels any appointments, then I could come to the gym, do my squats and stuff. Because then Tuesday will be bench, and Wednesday squats again. Or I move this squat session onto Tuesday. This could work. If I move this squat session onto Tuesday, then move Tuesday's bench session onto Wednesday, Wednesday's squat session onto Thursday. What's Thursday? I don't know. There's a way of making it work. I could combine the two squat sessions actually, because my main squat, my heavy squat session is just the singles. So I could do the singles and then the beltless squats as one session, and the deadlift is just accessories anyway. So I could do that. I don't know. Tune in to the next videos to find out. So in normal circumstance, in a normal situation, if I wasn't in a deficit, if I wasn't in the middle of moving and doing like manual-ish jobs and also really busy with work stuff, I would just roll the sessions on. But that will mess with my days where my calendar's already booked out. So typically speaking, Monday and Friday are just flat out, so I can't get in the gym, and my training is set up in such a way that that works. Yeah, I think combining the sessions might be the best thing to do. If I combine today's squats with Wednesday's squats, that should be fine. And then next week I'll be like caught up, even if I have to drop the volume slightly. This is more of a hypertrophy block, even though it probably doesn't look like it if you're a bodybuilder. So this is a thought process anyway. Right, let me just do this, because otherwise I'll stand here forever. Right, set 2. Ain't it good when you could just do 1 rep and call that a set? That felt more touch and go-y, if that's a word, touch and go-y. It's a little bit slow. Yeah, it was fine. So yeah, I think I'm not going to try and push and do the squat session today, because that's just asking to break something. Oh, that was faster than the last rep, that's nice. Next up, we have Le Close Grip bench press. 4 sets this week, that's exciting. Last week I did 80, 4 sets of 8 to 15. So this week I will do 85 for sets of 8 to 15. I know it's really inventive, but remember this time, these are to win the hypertrophy. These are not to shift as much weight as possible. I think I talked about this. I probably talked about all of this stuff all the time. I think I talked about this before, of when it's not the goal, whatever the goal of the movement is, should dictate how you do the movement. So if you're doing close grip bench to get big triceps, you would do it differently to if you're doing close grip bench as an accessory for your competition bench. So as an accessory for competition bench, you want similar speeds, similar control, similar tempo, similar volition, similar intensity, that sort of thing. If you're doing it, you need to put more weight on. If you're doing it for hypertrophy, you want to do it in the way that gets you the highest stimulus to fatigue ratio. So, there's no point in using this because it's kind of useless for more than 5 reps anyway, I think, because you start to lift efficiently rather than proficiently. You start to lift in a way that conserves energy rather than trying to move the bar with as much force as possible, which is not what you want for maximum strength, but for hypertrophy, it's not a bad thing. So, when choosing the movements, you want a high stimulus to fatigue ratio. So what that means is you get lots of stimulus out of it for minimal fatigue. So if you can use 80-85 kilos on your close grip bench and you get loads of stimulus in your triceps, your delts from doing that, and it doesn't damage the joints, it doesn't hurt the joints, fantastic. That's a high stimulus to fatigue ratio. If, however, when you do close grip bench, you have to use 120 kilos to do it, to feel it, that might be that you're not getting enough stimulus for the fatigue and it's just not worth it. So you need to figure out what's right for you and your body. So I know, for example, tricep pushdowns. I really like doing them, but I have to go quite heavy to actually get some stimulus, and it ends up bothering my wrists before I actually start to feel it in my triceps. So I don't tend to do them with a straight bar because it's not worth it for the stimulus to fatigue. So you can take that and apply that to any exercise. I suppose you could apply it to anything in life. Are you getting out of it what you want? Are you getting the positive benefits out of it for as little of the negative effects as possible? So, set 1, 8 to 15. So with this, there will be less of an arch. There won't be so much in the way of leg drive, even though you already know I'm not like the biggest leg drive. I'm not the biggest leg drive enthusiast. I think your legs need to stay stable and a bit more intent, if you like, on where the stimulus is. Anyway, I should actually lift, shouldn't I? See, bet that looks easy. You watch, it will look super hard. I can really feel that in my triceps. Feel like they're getting pumped. Doesn't hurt anywhere. Feels good. And it felt like to keep that same tempo, I could have maybe only done 2 or 3 more reps like that. That was 10 reps, so it falls within that nice range. If I started getting up towards the 15, I'd probably just put more weight on the bar so it brings it back down. What I'll probably do is just keep adding 2.5 to 5 kilos a week, because this block will only be another probably, how many weeks? So this is only week 2. So we'll probably do this for 5 weeks or so. So 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. So probably last week of the block, I'll be doing close grip bench, sets of 8 to 15 with 100, which is fairly reasonable. Because, yeah, that seems fair. With all this stuff, especially with powerlifting, it's like with powerlifting competitions, your opener is irrelevant. Nobody cares or remembers what you opened on. It's what you finish on. So don't rush to put in a massive opener that you then fail. You just look silly. So instead, always open lighter. You can always go up more in the future. It's the same with training blocks. Always start lighter than you think you need to, because you can always go up next week and the week after and the week after. But it's very hard to get back from starting the block too heavy. If you start the block too heavy, you have to take 2 steps backwards before you can take 1 step forwards. And there's a difference between you choosing to reduce the load and your body choosing that you have to reduce the load. So make a conscious decision to plan out the training so that it progressively gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And that way you'll make more gains long term. So for me, I count close grip as any grip that's significantly narrower than normal. So my normal grip is here. If I was to do a max grip, that would be like here, which is fairly wide. So this would be a max grip. Don't really do that. This is my normal grip. This is my close grip. If I go narrower than that, what I find is it irritates my wrists. So this is the closest grip that feels comfortable and gets me the stimulus I want. Oh. Oh. That was good. I think that was only 9 though. Started to get that like jelly-esque feeling. Like I sometimes do in my triceps. Oh. There's something else I was going to say that I've completely forgotten, so it can't have been that important, can it? So what were we talking about? Stimulus to fatigue, and then I ranted about progressing over the training cycle, and then said about choosing the way you do a movement based on a goal, and then I don't remember. Can you remember? No answer for me. That's not helpful. Yeah, I've gone completely blank. So over the next couple of weeks anyway, whatever training I do, I don't know where I'll be for it, where I can and can't record. I obviously don't want to record someone that doesn't want to be recorded, so I just have to be aware of that when I'm in other people's gyms. I'll try, but I guess we'll see. And then once we've moved everything into the house, I'll get the garage set up and get a rack in there. So I've got that. Probably need to buy, I'll have to buy a rack and a bench. And then I can just take some of these plates because we've got loads. So that'll be fine. Yeah, I have no idea what I was going to say. If you guys remember, comment it below the video. And then I guess I'll just do the next one. Yeah, I'll just do the next set. I said something about my wrists when I'm doing the close grip. I'm definitely going to remember as soon as I finished training and turned off the camera. Yeah. Just. Only just. That one was like, it felt like that. In reality, it's probably like a tiny bit faster, but it felt like that last rep could have just gone back down without me using a bit of pop, which I don't want to do. So yeah, when it comes to getting strong, every training block you do, you're generally looking at progressing load over time, but that doesn't mean you always have to just put more weight on the bar. That would be determined by what phase you're in. So if you're in a phase where strength is the sole purpose, the sole goal, then you probably should be putting weight on the bar each microcycle, so each week. But say you're in hypertrophy block or a restoration block or a deload or whatever, then you probably wouldn't, you know? So it needs to be relevant to the phase as to what you're doing. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? No one replies. One of the lights over there has gone a different colour. I don't know if it's damaged, and staring at it now I can't see properly. So filming videos, right, yeah. When I get into the new place, it'll be like a 40-minute drive here. So although I'll be here a couple days a week, I won't be here every day, the same as normal. So I will either train at home or train at Hull's, or there's a gym in, there's another couple of gyms in the area. There's one that's like a bodybuilding gym. I don't know how they'll feel about me setting up a tripod or something in there and recording. I'd imagine I could probably get away with filming like just top sets and stuff, but it'll depend on what time of day I actually go to the gym to train. So I wouldn't go at like peak times. One, just because training would be a nightmare trying to get on equipment, and two, filming would be even more of a nightmare. I don't want to be interrupting other people's workouts when they're trying to train. So that's another thing that's worth bearing in mind. I'll ask, next time I go and train there, I might go one day this week, I'll ask the staff if they've got any rules or anything. And then if they don't want me to film stuff, then I just won't. And if they don't mind, then I'll give it my best. I just will look crazy talking to myself, especially if you can't see that there's a microphone here. I'll look even more insane. But that's fine. And then I don't think I know Ben doesn't mind people filming in his gym, but it'll be the same thing of trying not to do it at peak times, because it's just getting in other people's way. But at the same time, I don't want to just buy a full home gym setup. I do, but I don't, because it's not really the most efficient use of money, I don't think. And to be fair, I'll probably just won't ever leave the house if I do that. So I'll need to get flooring, a rack, a decent incline bench. So I was looking at benches. So we've obviously got the benches here. I'm not taking stuff away from here. But I thought if I can get an incline one, then it means I can do any incline work and whatever else on it. And I was looking at what they're rated to, and some of them are only rated to 300 kilos. And I was like, oh yeah, that'll be fine. And then it dawned on me, actually, so right now I'm 91 kilos. Up to the next competition, I'll probably get up to 95, 96 again. And then, especially if I push on towards 800, my weight is probably going to creep up closer to 100. So if you think 100 kilo me, to hit that 800 total, I probably need a 180 bench. So 100 kilo me plus 180, that's 280. And then if I'm ever doing slingshot work, my slingshot's about 30 to 40 kilos historically better than my normal bench. So that then puts it up to 100 kilos of me plus 200 to 220. That sounds insane. But yeah, 200-ish kilos in my hands, that's 300 kilos. So that's more than the bench is rated for. And I could be paranoid, but like, so then it's finding a bench that's even heavier duty than that and is also inclinable. Because ideally, the setup that I'm like envisioning in my mind is I'll do my main squat bench dead at home and accessory work at the other gyms that I've got machines and stuff. And then obviously I'll still be here a couple of times a week and use whatever I need. But like a belt squat, for example, I think belt squat's a great accessory for squats. Both of the gyms that are close to where I'm moving have got a belt squat. So like I would be happy to squat, deadlift at home and then go there and just like do 47 sets of belt squat or something and go home. Probably like just comes here and uses the belt squat for half an hour and goes home. So that would be cool. Even like machines for back work. So although we've got a cable here, for me, it's not really heavy enough to do substantial back work. It's not a big problem at the minute because my back isn't really a thing that needs a lot of work, but it would be good to have the choice. And there's a few other bits and pieces like that would be good to have. So I might, I don't know. First things first is move. Well, first things first is to do my next set. Have I done 2 or 3? I've definitely not done 4, so I'll do 1 more. And I've had a longer rest now, so I should be able to get at least 8. Come on then. Was that 7 or 8? It was hard, whatever it was. I'll take it. My triceps definitely feel like they've worked. Feel pumped, that's good. So here's another thing. The next thing is front raises, but I've already done my front raises for the week. I did them on Thursday night. I was doing all the bodybuilding stuff. So I'm not going to do them today to contribute extra fatigue. So that's it really. Dead quick session. I think the whole thing is basically the length of this video plus 5 minutes to do some curls and some flies. It's been 2 weeks. Will I do either this is the end of the video, so take care, or there's one more clip which is going to be me doing a physique update thing. So if it looks like there's more time left on this video, you've been warned that I'm going to be not wearing many clothes in a few seconds. And if there's no more video, then take care and I will see you maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. Right? 3, 2, 1. You were warned. So here's me just stood normally. So I'll go and just do normal, like relaxed spin, if you like. So this is end of week 2 now. And then now I pretend and try and be a bodybuilder. So I think that's a front lat spread. That's that one. Then do the same thing from behind. And calf's obviously the most important muscle. And yes, these are Gyarados Pokemon socks. And then this one, I had a quick look at how to do it. So again, bear in mind, I don't know what I can't see what I'm doing, but I think and this one, I couldn't figure out how to get your arm all the way around there, but I tried. I'll try and do it on this side as well. So there's something that looks like a calf there and a quad there. So that's my attempt at being a bodybuilder. What's the other one? Right, I'm exhausted now. So that'll be the end of this video. So 2 weeks into the fat loss. Granted, I did just bench and do triceps, so my triceps are probably pumped. If any bodybuilders are watching this, point me in a direction of somewhere to go for better posing, or I'll just keep doing it badly. I don't mind either way. And then I'll do another one of these I guess it'll be in 2 weeks' time when I'm at the end, or if I decide to finish this phase sooner rather than later. I kind of had thought in my head that I might go down to like 88, 89 kilos. So then the last 6 weeks, I've got room to put on up to like a kilo a week if I need it, which basically means I can eat a massive surplus. Granted, I'm basically just going to be putting all the fat back on that I've just lost, like a smidgen of muscle, but it's to have the extra calories for the training and for the recovery that I'm mostly interested in. So we'll see how that goes. In terms of nutrition, not a right lot has changed. I will say, my nutrition has been more sporadic than it probably should be. I'm still every day hitting 200 grams of protein as a minimum. I'm trying not to go above 250, just because I think that's a bit overkill, but like, my calories are fluctuating. I think the lowest day I've had is about 2,000, and the highest of recent is about 4,200. Granted, I don't track like hyper accurately, but I do track 100% consistently. So I always track, but whether it's accurate or not, that's another question. It's more like to keep the habit going. So like, for example, now I'm here for the next couple of hours. I've got some work and bits and pieces to do. I've either got the choice of, so we're living out of like not much cutlery at the minute. So either pre-made food, shakes, drinks, fruit. At the minute, not really cooking anything, which does make it easier for fat loss, I think, because there isn't the choice to have lots of high palatability food. I mean, there is. I could always go to the shop. Going to the shop seems like such a time sink. It's just like wasted time. So this is just easier. With that said, I'm gonna go tidy up the bench stuff. This is the end of the video. I don't know if I'll put this in the video. The fact, I keep doing that, right? So anytime I think or say, I don't know if I'll put this in the video, I then will make myself put it in the video, because then it's a thing that I should have put in the video, so future me will see it and see that I should have put it in the video. With that said, take care. I will see you in the next few days.